This recording provides the audio and transcripts of the test items that test takers respond to in the corresponding speaking exemplification videos for CEFR levels B1, B2 and C1. You can use the information provided in this video to establish further context to the test taker responses in these exemplification videos.
Well, Melbourne is a good example of what we call the dispersed city in urban planning terms. It's really the kind of city that every part of the world is seeing develop now. In the old days, when walking was the main form of transport, then cities couldn't grow very large because they were limited by convenient walking distance from things. So if the population increased, the city grew up rather than outwards. Well, Melbourne is an example of the more modern kind of city where motorised transport, particularly cars, has permitted the city to spread out over great distances. Not only are residences widely dispersed, but the things people want to travel to are widely dispersed as well. So you can't walk to most of those places because they're too far away. It's probably not going to be practical to cycle. Traditionally, public transport systems have had great difficulty serving that kind of travel. Your stereotypical public transport system will consist of train or tram or bus lines that feed into the centre of town. But if you want to travel anywhere else, if you want to go across the suburbs or from one side of the city to the other, it's practically impossible, and Melbourne has been like that traditionally for decades.
A group of 3 university teachers are discussing their university's open day.
Are you both coming to the university's open day?
Yes, of course I'm coming. We're all expected to, aren't we?
Yes. Why do you ask? Aren't you coming?
Yeah, of course. I'm going to be here. But to be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure why we're having one. We don't really need to attract more students. We have a good reputation as one of the best universities in the country, and this is reflected in the high number of applications we receive from gifted students, both from here and from overseas. As it is, we already have to turn so many strong applicants away. It seems to me that by trying to increase the demand to study here, all we're going to do is disappoint more and more students.
I admit that could be one of the effects, but I understand why we're having an open day. Prospective students are looking to find out whether or not we're going to be a good fit for them. They want to get a feel for what we can offer them. Even if they're sure they want to enrol, it helps us to manage expectations better if they have some idea of what it's like to study here.
That's true, Eleanor. But I also think there's another reason for doing it. Our high reputation leads some young people to think they aren't good enough to study here, and so they don't bother applying. Typically, they're from a state school background and don't always have the self-confidence that is instilled in students from private schools. We have to show them that people from all backgrounds can be successful here if they have the talent.
Yeah, I can see how recruiting applicants from a range of backgrounds will lead to a more diverse student community here. I know we've sometimes been accused by our critics, unfairly in my opinion, of being kind of an elitist institution, so this is probably a good thing. In fact, in my classes, I've had a number of students from more modest backgrounds who perform to a very high standard.
The university has recruited a number of first-year student volunteers who'll be there to welcome visitors and show them around. They'll try to reflect the university's move towards greater diversity. I know those chosen from our department have been properly briefed. They're a good lot and we can depend on them. I only hope that the other departments have made their choices with this in mind.
Yes. As well as showing them around, they'll also sit with them over coffee and try to answer any questions that come up. I'm pleased that they've been encouraged to be completely honest with their answers, rather than just try and paint a perfect picture of the university, because I'm sure prospective students would be able to recognise a sales pitch if they heard it.
One of your friends from school is going away to start university next week. She's excited, but sad to say goodbye. Some of you are discussing ideas for a present to give her for her new apartment. What would you suggest to them?